time here, I would love for you to subscribe because this channel is all about creativity and inspiration. I hope you feel inspired to create something amazing. Feel free to share the inspiration because life is a journey we make together. And now I'll show you how this shabby chic project was done. So this is my inspiration material, and I've done a lot with this. But I happen to have just a little bit more, and I think it'll be just enough to kind of put around on this little piece, and I think that'll be real sweet. And I think that'll be so cute. So to finish up my little mini quilt remodel project, same principle as a big quilt. I have the back, have the batting inside. I've done a little bit of quilting. I've sewed on my lace to attach them all together. And now you trim off your batting and your backing before you put on your binding. So I'm going to line this up. How you can do this is use your ruler, put it on a seam. Sometimes your other pieces of fabric are a little off, but that's what this is all about, is squaring everything up. So once you get your fabric where you want it, where it's all squared up, and do take your time with this. Move your fabric around if you need to. Start over if you need to. Whatever works that you're comfortable making that cut. Put your hand firmly on your ruler. Put a pinky off to hold it in place. And when you're sure you've measured twice, you're going to cut once, then you can make your final cut. Now, you put the binding on. Now, I'm not going to do my usual 3-inch strip ironed in half where I sew it on and then rotate it all the way around. This way, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sew it directly onto my front. So I want to mark what my seam allowance is. I take it up here and I am going to add
that. I'm going to add that length to my project, to the binding right there. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Adding it. Sewing these two pieces together directly across. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this right around. This is my binding for my little mini quilt here. I'm going to give it a nice little press, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. So now what you can do with your binding is you just wrap it around, and I could have done just a small little hand stitch right along here, and that would have been fine. But I don't think that you can ever have too much lace. So what I'm going to do is put this lace around here, sew it on the top side. I'm just going to sew in the ditch so that'll make sure that it catches the lace, and I think that'll be sweet. Because I don't think that you can ever have too much lace. Sweet. And on a project like this, you can always use heat bond. It's like double-sided tape, really. I like to kind of think of it like that. Use small strips and actually peel it, then put it where I want it. Then laying your fabric right on top of it with a hot iron. It just melts and glues right in place. There's different ones, different brands. This is the Ultra Hold. But it does work for projects like this. No sew. If you missed a seam, if you don't want to sew, if you're just crafty and want to play around with fabric. And the Ultra Bond, it works really well. It's iron-on adhesive, and if you can read all the fine print, my hat's off to you. So I think it turned out super sweet. And it just makes my little craft area, sewing area,